What we ended up doing in class was simply a review on Kahoot. And what I went ahead and did is I took those problems and I put them here. So what you can do if you want is before I solve it for you guys, you can pause it, and then you can see if you get the same answer that I do. You are going to need the Desmos calculator for this. So let's go ahead and get started with the review. So the first things first here, reads, find the lateral surface area using the formula P times H. P represents the perimeter of your base and H represents the height. Now we're only finding the lateral surface area, and just so you know what that is, the lateral surface area would be the front, the back, and the two sides. That right there represents the lateral surface area. Okay, just so you are aware. Now, the formula is capital P times the height. Capital P, the reason it's a capital letter is because you need to find the perimeter of your base. So first, we're going to identify that this right here is one of the bases. I'm going to put a capital B for base. And if the base is right here on the opposite side, you would have your second base, okay? Now, that base right there is a rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that rectangle right here, capital B. And that rectangle is made up of 10 centimeters by 17 centimeters. So in order to find the perimeter, we need to add all the sides. So I'm going to fill in the blanks right there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add up these four numbers to find the perimeter. And then we'll put that under the capital P. So you can do that with mental math, or you can use a calculator. So we're going to go ahead and add 10 plus 10 plus 17 plus 17. And we get 54 as an answer. So the perimeter is 54 centimeters. So I'm going to put 54 right here. Once you're done, we're going to multiply by whatever the height is. This is how tall the prism is. So the height is equal to 4. So we're going to put 4 right there. All right, now all you have to do is multiply 54 times 4, and you have your answer. The answer is 216. Now, since we are dealing with surface area, when you multiply centimeters and centimeters, we end up with centimeters squared. Okay, so there's that first problem right there. All right, let's go ahead and do the second one. So if you want to pause it, you can pause it and then check to see if we get the same answer. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and find the perimeter of the base. That's the base. So that means that we need to add 10 and 3. Ten and 10 is 20. 3 and 3 is 6. So 26 inches is the perimeter. Then we multiply by the height, which is 4 inches. And then we'll go ahead and multiply that. So 26 times 4 is 104 inches squared. Okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the third one that we did in class. Let's go ahead and drag this. All right, so here's the next one. In this one right here, the only thing that makes it challenging is that I included decimals. Decimals tend to freak people out, but you're still going to use the same process, so you should not worry about seeing decimals. Okay, so this is the base. Again, this is the formula, right? Nothing has changed. So let's find the perimeter of the base. So we're going to go ahead, if you still feel comfortable drawing the base, this is 0.9. This is 0.5. Okay? And then we just fill in what's missing. And let's go ahead and find the perimeter. To find the perimeter, we need to add those four numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and use the calculator. So 0.5 plus 0.5 plus 0.9 plus 0.9. Okay, so here we have our four sides. My perimeter is 2.8 meters. So we're going to put that right here, 2.8 meters. Multiply by the height, which is 0.5 meters. And all you have to do is multiply. Now, it's challenging if you're not using a calculator, but if you are using a calculator, it should be pretty straightforward, pretty easy. The answer is 1.4 for this problem. So the surface area is 1.4, and when you multiply meters and meters, you end up with meters squared. Okay, so that right there is the lateral surface area of a prism. Okay, the next part of the review that we did is volume of cylinders and volume of cones. So here we have two cylinders. Okay, let's look at the first one. What is the volume of the cylinder? First of all, the formula that we're going to use for volume is capital B times H, where capital B is the area of the base, and then H is your height. So here's the base, here's the base. Okay, now the area of the base, if you want to find the area of that circle, then we end up using this formula right here. Pi times the radius squared. And then we're going to bring down the height. Okay, so right here we have our height being 11, and the radius goes from the center of the circle to the edge. That's the radius, 6. Okay, the next thing we do is we just substitute into the formula, and we're going to use the approximation for pi, which is 3.14. So to find volume, it's 3.14 times the radius squared times the height of the cylinder. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and multiply those values using our calculator. So it's pi times 6 squared times 11. And the answer for this one is 1,243. 1,243.44 cubic meters. Now, the reason we say cubic meters is because when we did this lesson, I had told you guys that we use little cubic units to measure the volume or the space inside of a cylinder. Okay? All right, so let's move on to the next problem. Now that we know that we're using this formula, I'm going to go ahead and put that right here. Okay? And looking at our cylinder, we know that our height is 9 centimeters. When the line goes all the way across the circle, that right there is your diameter. It is 10 centimeters. So what we need to do is we need to divide 10 by 2 so that we can find the radius. The radius goes from the center to the edge. So 10 divided by 2 is 5 centimeters. So the radius is 5 centimeters. The reason we had to find the radius is because radius is in the formula, not the diameter. So we're not going to use the 10 anymore. All right, now we have volume equals 3.14 times 5 squared times 9. And let's go ahead and solve that. So we got 3.14 times 5 squared times 9. And the answer is 706.5 centimeters cube. Okay? All right, so this is how you find the volume of a cylinder. The last section that we did in the review is we reviewed the volume of a cone. Now, I had told you guys in class when we did a lesson that given a cylinder like that a cone represents 1/3 the size of a cylinder. So you see all this empty space right here? That right there is a lot of empty space. So we're going to use the same formula because it's only 1/3 the size of a regular cylinder. So the formula for this one, we have it right here. It's still pi times radius squared times the height, but I put a 1/3 in front of it right there. And you're going to multiply 1/3 by all of this. So it's going to be very similar. So in this problem, where we have the radius of 3 meters, the height is 7 meters, the formula is 1/3 times pi times radius squared times height. So we substitute what we know. The radius is 3 squared times 7. And then we put this in our calculator. Now the tricky part that some students will forget, maybe you're having an issue with this, how do I get the 1/3 on the calculator? 1/3 is basically a division problem. So you have to do 1 divided by 3 and we get our fraction. But if you notice, there's a blinking in the denominator section. So you have to press to the right, and then you can, now that it's outside of your fraction, you can put times 3.14 times 3 squared times 7. If you don't move that arrow to the right, it's not gonna give you the correct answer. All right, so the answer for this one is 65.94 cubic meters. All right, the last one that we have here, it's again, it's going to be the same formula. However, this time they gave you the diameter. So I know that the diameter is 8 feet. I know that the height is 9 feet. But I need the radius because that's in the formula. So my radius, you have to divide the 8 by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4 feet. So we're not going to use this number. This is the number we're going to use. So 1/3 times 3.14 times 4 squared times 9. Okay? So we're going to end up multiplying that. And again, guys, hopefully you've been pausing to see if maybe you can do these on your own. Again, so you're going to do 1 divided by 3 and press to the right, and then you can continue multiplying. And the answer for this one is 150.72 cubic feet. So volume is going to have that little 3 right here, because we use little cubic units to find out how much is being taken up inside of a cone and how much is being taken up inside of a cylinder. Okay. All right. So this was the review that we did today on Kahoot. I just took some snippets of it, and hopefully this is going to help you guys out. So you all have a good one. Bye-bye.